In 2000, a 6-year-old girl vanished from her yard in broad daylight. For 2 years, her family searched with the help of the neighbor they trusted most. But when investigators finally entered his home, they found something in his bedroom that changed everything. The Martin family believed they lived in one of the safest neighborhoods in their small Midwestern town. Children rode their bikes freely, neighbors left their doors unlocked, and everyone trusted the man who lived next door, Pastor Everett Cole. He was the one families called when they needed prayer, guidance, or help. He was the person who volunteered to mow lawns for the elderly. He was the man who always told the children Bible stories while their parents chatted on the porch. So when 6-year-old Emily Martin vanished from her front yard on a warm, windless afternoon, it shook the entire community. But no one took it harder, or acted more visibly devastated, than Pastor Cole himself. He prayed with the family. He coordinated search groups. He stood beside investigators. He cried with everyone. For 2 years, Emily's disappearance remained a mystery, until a routine inspection inside the pastor's home uncovered something no one expected. Emily's favorite teddy bear. And buried inside that teddy bear was the truth everyone thought they'd never uncover. What investigators found stitched inside the old toy would finally reveal what happened on that quiet afternoon, and expose the man who had stood among them the entire time. It was May 14, 2000. The kind of afternoon where nothing feels threatening, the kind where kids' laughter carries down the street and the smell of someone grilling floats over the fences. Emily was playing under the maple tree in front of her home, brushing the fur of her stuffed teddy bear, Benny, while her mother prepared lemonade inside. Her father, Mark, remembered hearing her humming, the same soft tune she always sang while brushing her toy. He stepped inside the house for exactly 2 minutes to grab a screwdriver, leaving Emily under the tree, well within sight. But when he stepped back out, Emily was gone. Her teddy bear lay on the grass where she had been sitting, one button eye pointed upward, as if watching him. That single detail never left him. Benny was there. Emily wasn't. There were no screams, no running footsteps, no tire marks, no witnesses. It was as if the world had paused long enough for someone to step in, take her, and slip away without a single sound. And within minutes, the first person at their doorstep was their neighbor, Pastor Cole. Breathless, sweaty, concerned, and ready to help. From the moment Emily disappeared, Pastor Cole involved himself in every step of the investigation. He organized community prayer nights. He knocked on doors with flyers. He searched wooded areas late into the night with a flashlight. Parents trusted him, investigators respected him, and Emily's mother clung to him for comfort. He spoke softly about faith and unanswered questions. He hugged them when they cried. He stood inside their living room more than any other neighbor. If someone had asked who was the most devoted to finding little Emily, everyone would have pointed to him. But what the Martin family didn't know was that the pastor hid something in his eyes whenever he looked at Emily's empty bedroom. Fear. Not for her. For himself. And despite all his efforts, there was one thing he never did. He never let anyone inside his own house. 2 years later, after the town's water pipes burst beneath the pastor's property, inspectors were required to enter his home to check for structural damage. He protested mildly, saying the house was cluttered, private, not safe for guests, but legally he had no choice. When the inspectors entered his downstairs guest room, the first thing they noticed was the smell, a stale, sour odor buried beneath strong cleaning chemicals. They noted scratches on the inside of the closet door. Small scratches, low to the ground, almost like a child had clawed at it. Inside that closet, behind a stack of boxes, they found a faded, dust-covered stuffed animal. A teddy bear. One button eye missing. Fur matted. A pink ribbon tied around its neck the way Emily wore it when she played. They delivered the toy directly to police. When Emily's mother saw it, she screamed. It was Benny. Investigators examined the teddy bear more closely. Something about it seemed heavier than a normal toy. The stitching along the belly was newer, cleaner, and not factory-made. Someone had opened Benny. Someone had put something inside. When detectives carefully slit the seam, a small wad of folded paper slid out. Fragile. Yellowing. Ripped along the edges like it had been torn from a notebook. On the paper were child's handwriting, clumsy letters, uneven lines, and 3 words, "I'm still here." The letters shook. Uneven. Written by a child in fear. Underneath the note was another piece of paper, a crude drawing. A girl. Inside a small room. Beside a door with scratches. Outside the door, a tall man holding a Bible. The drawing was unmistakable. Emily had tried to communicate, and she had written from inside the pastor's house. When investigators confronted Pastor Cole with the teddy bear, his prayerful calm evaporated. He trembled. He stuttered. He begged for a lawyer. But the evidence began to tell its story without him. And this is what investigators reconstructed. On the afternoon Emily vanished, the pastor had been watching her from his window. He told neighbors he saw her as a lost little lamb who needed guidance. He had grown increasingly obsessed with her innocence, her kindness, the way she waved at him every morning. He waited, watched the father go inside, watched the mother step into the kitchen. Then, with no one looking, he walked across the yard, picked Emily up, and carried her into his house. He told her quietly, "You're safe with me now. God wants me to care for you." Emily wasn't harmed, not at first. Detectives believed he locked her in the guest bedroom to keep her from running back home. But when she cried and begged, he stopped giving her food, stopped giving her water, believing she would adjust. She didn't. Emily died less than a week later. She had scratched at the closet door trying to escape. She had written notes in the dark. She had hidden messages inside the teddy bear he returned to her in an attempt to keep her calm. And after she died, he hid Benny in his closet, the one thing she had loved most. For 2 years after Emily's death, Pastor Cole played the role of grieving neighbor perfectly. He hosted candlelight vigils. He hugged her parents. He helped investigators search the very woods he knew were empty. He wept in church, calling Emily our precious angel. He prayed for her safe return. He offered to bless her bedroom. He even comforted her mother during anniversary events, whispering things like, "She's with God, wherever she is." No one suspected him. No one questioned why he never allowed anyone into his home. He was a pastor, the safest man in the neighborhood. At least, that's what they believed. The teddy bear alone wasn't enough. But the note inside it, the drawing and the scratches in the closet, gave detectives probable cause to search the house fully. Behind the drywall in the guest room, they found tiny fingerprints. In the attic, they found her missing pink hair clips. Under a floorboard, they found a small sock. Every item had Emily's DNA on it. The pastor finally broke. In a trembling confession, he admitted he had taken her because he thought her family didn't appreciate her. That he planned to raise her in the ways of God. But he panicked when she cried to go home. He said, "I only meant to save her." Emily's parents had spent 2 years searching, praying, begging for answers, all while the man responsible stood beside them. He was in their living room. He ate their food. He prayed with them at their table. He pretended to be the shoulder they cried on. When Emily's mother held Benny for the first time in 2 years, she pressed her face into its worn fur and sobbed. She whispered, "You tried to tell us, baby. I'm sorry we didn't know." The teddy bear, the quiet witness, had carried Emily's final message all along. Some stories don't end with neat conclusions, or justice that fully heals. Emily's story is one of those. A child trusted a man her family trusted, a man everyone believed represented safety, morality, and faith. And he used that trust to take everything from her. The teddy bear became more than a toy. It became the key that unlocked the truth. A silent messenger. A fragile reminder that even in her last moments, Emily fought to be found. And through a child's handwriting and a stitched-shut toy, she finally was. Pastor Cole was charged, convicted, and never again walked freely. But for the Martin family, knowing what happened didn't ease the pain. It only ended the torment of not knowing. 2 years of searching. 2 years of hoping. 2 years of praying. And all along, the answer sat inside a closet in the home of the man who pretended to help them. Some secrets stay buried for years. Some monsters hide in plain sight. And sometimes, the smallest object, a child's teddy bear, becomes the only voice left to speak the truth.